Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to For StarCraft 2 Strategy, your number one location for step-by-step strategy and tutorial videos. Today we're going to be taking a look at a 2v2 strategy. What we're going to be looking at here is a Terran and Protoss strategy. This is a game played from my friend and myself. My friend here, Tempest, is a Protoss player, and I am Force, the Terran player. I'm not a jerk. I didn't see this. I would have responded with you two or good luck, have fun. So there you go. Just wanted to set that aside. So yeah, basically what we're going to be doing here today is we're going to be going for a really early game push. Myself, we're going to be going for Marine and Marauders, and the Protoss player is going to be going for that fast Warpgate, 2 to 3 Warpgate pressure. Basically, is what we're going to be looking at. So we're going to be starting off the game with pretty simple stuff here. Getting that 10 supply depot, we're going to follow that up with the 12 barracks and then get that refinery. Fairly standard Terran opener. So basically, again, what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be pushing out really early, and we're going to take advantage of the fact that a lot of players in 2v2 especially really start to feel comfortable. They start to feel like they can sit in their base, kind of tech up, play a little defensively, and that they won't be seeing any early game pressure. Well, I'm here to tell you that that is not the case, and you should never play that way. You should always assume the worst, basically. You should almost always assume that you're going to be seeing something from your opponent early in the game. If you're facing Zerg, assume you're going to see a 6-pool rush. I mean, obviously go out and scout. Don't play completely blind. You want to be positive of what you're seeing as opposed to just guessing the whole time. But prepare for the worst possible situation, because if you don't at least mentally prepare and have some sort of defensive countermeasure to what you could be seeing, then you're going to get caught off guard so very often that you're just going to be completely screwed. So basically what I'm trying to say is we set in motion the workings for preparing for the worst possible situation, and then after scouting, if we see, okay, that's not going to happen, then we can do what we're comfortable with and what we're planning to do as far as the build is concerned. So taking a look here, we did get that orbital command at 16. That refinery is up, we're saturating it. We went ahead and created a early marine just to fend off any scouts from our opponents here. I'm going to try to kill anything that comes into our base. We are dropping that tech lab and then also creating a second barracks here. So again, what we're going to be going for here is we're going to be coming out with Marauders and Marines, and we're going to be moving out very early. Basically, as soon as we get about 4 units, 2 Marauders and 2 Marines is when I like to push out. And that's also a strategy I find pretty effective in 1v1 when playing Protoss opponents. I like to move out with like 2 Marauders, 2 Marines, 1 SCV, try to get a bunker somewhere near or inside of their base, and like a lot of times you can catch them off guard by pushing out with that strong of a force that early. So again, we do have this 1 Marine to fend off anything we could be seeing. We did get our scouting information. We saw, okay, there's not going to be a 6-pool. It doesn't look like a proxy Reaper rush is coming either, because we saw the barracks at the front of their base. Now taking a look here at our Zerg opponent, this right here, if you ask me, is a huge mistake. In 2v2, I really honestly think that expanding early is a death sentence. In fact, as I was loading this replay, those little tips at the bottom, the tip said, expanding early can be dangerous, but it can sometimes be worth the risk. Well, there should be a tip that said, in 2v2, expanding early is never worth the risk. The reason is, basically, you're setting yourself so far behind as far as amount of units are concerned. I mean, if you take a look here, he doesn't have, he's got a few buildings. He can come out with roaches and zerglings, obviously. He's got those 2 buildings. But since he's dumped his resources into this hatchery, and since he's obviously going for that hard economy, I mean, you wouldn't not be going for heavy, you wouldn't build a hatchery and not pump out drones while it's building, because then what would be the point of building the hatchery? Why would you even, if you're not going to have enough drones to take advantage of the hatchery when it pops up, then why would you build it? So basically, again, going for that really early expansion in 2v2, I think is a terrible idea, because if your opponents hit you even remotely early within the first 7 or 8 minutes of the game, I think you're screwed, basically. And that's what happens here. As you can see, we're going to be pushing out now a little later than I thought we did in this game. We have a little more. I like to push out a little bit earlier, but it's okay. It's not a big deal. Our Protoss friend here, he has finished researching that warp gate. He's got that 3 gate up. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be moving out now that he has that. He's dropped down that proxy pylon, so now's the best time for us to move. As you can see, we do have our barracks rallied to our opponent's base. We did create that additional barracks. I'm sorry I didn't note that. I know I was talking about that expansion a lot, but don't worry, the build order is going to be in the bottom, so you can see exactly when we did get that additional barracks. Also coming down with this factory to prepare for any possible tech switches. Again, key thing to note, we're keeping that production up, keeping our minerals and Vespian low. Stimpak is also just about done researching, so once we move up here, I mean, it's going to be game over. Again, he's invested so much into this expansion. You take a look at his ally here. He does have a handful of units, not bad. He's sitting on a decent amount of units, but since the Zerg player put so much into this expansion early on in the game, he's not going to have enough. And with 2 armies worth, 2 players worth of army versus one player worth of army, because the Zerg player doesn't have much due to expanding, who's going to win? I mean, numbers, basic math here. 2 is better than 1.5. 2 is larger than 1.5. What's that thing? The alligator? The alligator eats 1.5. We are the alligator. We are the 2 alligator. Okay, so yeah, we're moving up here. I've got Stimpak up. A Terran opponent here has not finished researching Stimpak yet. Taking out these Zerg units so quickly because he has so few, and these Marauders do so well versus roaches. And then, trying to create a concave here, I pulled back my units just so that the Terran opponent wasn't able to surround my Protoss Bud. If I had kept pushing forward, then he probably would have lost a lot of his units, but pulling back to try to fend that off. And again, we're just continuing up the production, keeping units rallied to our base, trying to keep that count low. I got it a little high here. I think at this point it would have been a good time to expand, but that's okay. I mean, we're moving in. We're going to be taking out this layer here, and at this point it's pretty much good game. In fact, I think they're actually about to leave. Yeah, the Zerg player goes ahead and leaves. He realizes it's all over. Taking a look at the Terran player, again, not bad. He's got a lot of production buildings. He had a sizable army, but because the Zerg player expanded early, he didn't have enough to deal with us. And since we were going for that early game pressure, we properly were able to respond to that fact that he wasn't prepared for it. So taking a look here back at our build order, start off with that 10 supply depot, followed it up with the 12 barracks and that refinery. I got that early marine to fend off any kind of scouting that they might be trying to do. And then attach a tech lab as soon as that marine was done building. Started coming out with marauders. We have our 2nd barracks to pump out marines. Then we eventually dropped down our 3rd barracks for even more marines. Getting that factory with the tech lab, was preparing for a siege tank switch. Also getting that engineering bay, because I was going to go for a bio ball with some siege tanks. So I did want to upgrade those ground units still. And then again, at this point, a lot of times when you go for a push like this, if you're even semi-effective, it is a good time to expand. Go ahead and move to your natural. Take advantage of the fact that they're crippled basically, and you should be able to take an economic advantage because of that. So yeah, guys, again, this has been for StarCraft 2 Strategy, your #1 location for step-by-step strategy and tutorial videos. If you like our videos here and you like what we're doing, please do go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Keep watching and keep owning, guys.